What's going on, guys? Free agency is here. I'm at work right now. Wanted to get a go live and just talk to you guys for a little bit while I'm on my lunch. Don't have the mic, don't sound perfect, but I just want to go live and talk to you guys about free agency so far. We made a big splash with Jaelan Phillips. Kind of surprising, but not really. Obviously, need edge rusher help badly. Edge rusher, the pressure rate, we're the second to last in the league last year. Sacks are minimal. I mean, Jaelan Phillips, I'll just kind of talk right in and just go into it. You know, much needed help. We definitely have upgraded this position now, right? I feel like he was one of the, besides Trey Hendrickson, I feel like he was the top edge rusher coming to the free agency class. There are some concerns for me personally. He did play 17 games last year, but he has had an Achilles tear, ACL tear, and you know, and that's what kind of led him to be traded to the Dolphins to the Eagles. And then the Eagles, there were reports that he wanted to, they were going to try to re-sign him, but we came in with a lot bigger offer. And with Jalen Carter, those guys, defensive players trying to re-sign, that's just too much money for the Eagles. So he signed with the Panthers. Hopefully, audio's coming okay. The connection's pretty bad, so sorry if it is. But again, the much needed help. Top 10 pressures the last year, and then I believe 2023 as well. So it's something that we desperately need. I do believe in the upside in Jaelan Phillips as far as staying healthy, having a full season. He showed that he can stay healthy last season with the Eagles. So we'll see, you know, things play out. But a lot of crazy moves so far today. You got Mike Evans gone from the Bucks. Thank God that's a great. I'm so glad that Mike Evans is out of this division. He went to the 49ers and he signed a 3-year deal, which I really thought that he was going to, sign a 1 or 2 year deal. But does the dude actually have 3 years left in him? But the Niners, they do need help at wide receiver, and Mike Evans is a huge upgrade. So just happy he's out of the division. But a couple other signings. Go over a few other guys that have been gone. Yeah, Cade Mays that signed for Detroit. I think that's a huge signing for Detroit. It's sad to see Cade go. He was a hell of a player, but when you already have $80 million in the books on the offensive line, you got to get cheaper at the offensive line. You got to get cheaper, and I'm sure the Panthers have a plan how to attack center, left tackle. Let's not trash on Josh Nijman. I think he's a serviceable left tackle until Icky comes back. I do think, there could be potential with them drafting a left tackle at 19 if one drops to them. But we'll see. We'll see. Those are the biggest question marks for me right now is what do we do at left tackle and center? Because you can't go into the season with those big question marks. You got to be able to keep Bryce protected. So, but it does seem like that we are potentially still in the talks with Devin Lloyd. There's a lot of reports out on Twitter that I'm seeing about Devin Lloyd. He still hasn't signed. You have Edmonds. What's his name? Tremaine Edmonds. He signed a 3-year, $36 million deal with the Giants. So he's off of the mark on free agency. So just a lot of stuff going on. I don't have everything prepared and like all the names listed down here with me right now. Just kind of going through Twitter, but Devin Lloyd's still someone that the Panthers, I think that would be a great sign. If you can get Jaelan Phillips at the edge, and then you got Devin Lloyd at inside linebacker, I think we're looking really, really good defensively. I still think they could go out and get a nickel. Maybe they get one in the draft. They also could get another safety for competition for Nick Scott. But defensively, I think we're looking pretty good. I think the biggest thing is just the question marks at left tackle and center. Dan Morgan mentioned before we could still go out and get a speedy wide receiver. That's something that we could still do, whether it's free agency or the draft. But it'd be interesting to see what we do. We There could be not another signing today, but I do feel like with Devin Lloyd, you know, we'll see what happens. But I feel like if we do sign him, it'll be today. I don't think you Devin Lloyd stays on the market in free agency until for another day. I just don't see that happening. But you never know. You never know how things can go. Yeah, how many teams are on in talks with him, and does the ante keep getting increased, going back and forth? We'll see. We'll see. But I'm excited, man. We got Jaelan Phillips. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, I love the player, right? Before he got injured, like, he's a hell of a player, hell of a player. Really good uh, pass rusher, decent stopping the run. I think he's very smart, instinctive, fast player. He fits the culture that the Panthers want in the locker room and as a captain, as a defensive player. It's just hopefully he can stay healthy. But I know he hasn't had 10 sacks in a season. He was on pace for one for that back in a couple years ago when he had 6.5 sacks with Miami before he tore his Achilles. He was balling that season, but I'm just cautiously optimistic. It is a little of a gamble when you sign a player with that much money that's been injury prone, that doesn't have the production. But we're a small market. You got to pay to play, and this is what the Panthers have shown: is they go out and find a young guy on his first big contract that's still getting to his prime. So this doesn't surprise me with the Panthers signing Jaelan Phillips. It doesn't surprise me at all. I did see, besides Mike Evans, there's another Bucks player that got excuse me, that got signed elsewhere too. I can't remember where that was or who that was, but there's several Bucks players off the team. Cade Oton did re-sign with the Bucks today as well. I thought he could possibly be gone. I thought that would be huge for us if Cade would be gone. He's a decent tight end. Um, but it'll be interesting to see how the rest of free agency holds up. A lot of part of me wished that I took today off so I could go through all this, but I've been at work, so I don't have everything prepped and stuff. But um, a lot of signings so far. I saw Tyler Lindenbaum got a big contract too. I knew that he was going to get a big contract. That dude is a baller, man. Uh, where did he sign at? I know he's for the Ravens. He signed for the Raiders. That's what it was. He signed a huge contract, bro. A 3-year, $81 million contract, 60 million guaranteed for the Raiders, and they got the money to spend right now. They got the money to spend. You got to shore up. They're going to get a quarterback. They're going to get Mendoza. You got to shore up that offensive line. You got to shore up the offensive line and protect the quarterback for sure. But 27 million average per year on that contract, which is crazy. The second highest is Creed Humphrey at 18 million. That's a hell of a contract, bro. Holy smokes. Wow. Hell of a contract. Crazy, crazy. But yeah, man, there's been a lot of talk about Devin Lloyd and the Panthers. I still think that's a possibility. If the Panthers want, they can get him. Obviously, we're gonna see what they do from restructures to release. Do they release Andy Dalton? Do they release A'Shawn Robinson? Those are still possibilities for sure. A'Shawn Robinson will save $10 million, so that's an easy one. But he's a hell of a player too, bro. He's a hell of a player too. Um, if we could sign Devin Lloyd, I think that really shores up our defense, and that also it gives you a huge need that's being met at inside linebackers, definitely for coverage, because we were horrible in coverage last year. No shade to Christian Roseboom, but geez, we were horrible in coverage, horrible versus the tight end. And Devin Lloyd is a hell of a coverage inside linebacker. So if we can, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but this is someone that I would love for us to sign. I don't think it'll be too crazy expensive. Jalen, you're not going to get another Jaelan Phillips contract. That's the biggest contract we're to be giving out this year, this offseason. But if we can't get Devin Lloyd, bro, we're gonna get. I think we can get Leo Chanel. He's a really good inside linebacker. He played for the Chiefs. He's really good in coverage. He's instinctive. He's smart. He's not going to be like this flashy guy, but he's a guy that you can rely on game in and game out. And he plays physical. He plays like old school, hardcore inside linebacker, just a hard hitter. I saw the Falcons. They were looking at Joe Flacco. Now they're looking at Tua. I can't even pronounce his last name right now. But I saw that Tua is an option, which I think Tua is better than Michael Penix, in my opinion. I think Tua is definitely a lot better than Michael Penix. Um, I still think, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I could see maybe Tua and Michael Penix fighting out in off season. We'll see. But I mean, that doesn't scare me as a NFC South foe. Michael Tua doesn't scare me at all. We already played Tua Dolphins last year, but Tua wasn't bad. He wasn't bad that game. He wasn't bad at all. I do think he's better than Michael Penix for sure. Yeah, according to Adam Schefter, Falcons are expected to pursue Tua. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And then the Saints, they've lost a couple of key defensive players. You have Alontae Taylor, Cameron Jordan that's out. Alontae Taylor's the cornerback, Jordan their defensive end. Which I knew that Jordan was out. I didn't know if Taylor was going to stay or not. Those are two huge blows. They did pick up an offensive lineman, which makes sense. You want to protect uh, the quarterback. But yeah, I mean, you got some good players that are leaving the NFC South, bro. I know Chris Godwin was a little upset about Mike Evans going, but you got uh, Emeka Ibuka, that wide receiver there. You have Godwin. It just makes sense to move on from him. It's just way too crowded in the wide receiver room. It makes sense. But I think also with Todd Bowles still being there, I think he just want to go to a contender. I don't feel like the Bucks like they can always surprise you, but I feel like the Bucks are going to be taking a step back this upcoming season. To be honest with you. But we'll see what they do with the contracts. J.C. Horn, did they restructure him? Derek Brown. We'll see. You got Isaiah Likely that signed with the Giants, 3-year, $40 million deal. But yeah, man, Jaelan Phillips, I'm excited. Much needed pass rush help. So hopefully his production from a sack perspective gets better because he only had 5 sacks last season, but his pressure rate was 18.8%, which is so much better than what we did last year. And again, like I'm one of the Panther fans that's a little not upset. This is a good signing. I don't want people to think this is a bad signing. This is a hell of a player. But when you know, $80 million guaranteed, 4-year, $120 million, injury prone, 2 major injuries, hasn't had more than 8 sacks on a season. I mean, it doesn't 100% excite you, but again, you got to be able to get players that can impact the game. Edge rusher, it's really hard to find an elite edge rusher, and he was the best on the market. He was a need, and pair him with Nick Scorton and Derek Brown, and then if we can get a good inside linebacker, I think that's going to make our defense top 10, which was top 15 last year. We got to get pressure on the quarterback. I think if we can get pressure on the quarterback consistently, we're going to be easily over an 800 win team. I think if we would have had Jaelan Phillips last year, we wouldn't have had won the division with an under 800 or under 500 record. So Ed, ed, edge rusher was the biggest need, and Dan Morgan and Brand Tillis have done this every offseason where whatever that biggest need is, they go attack it aggressively. We did that the first year at offensive line was horrible. We got Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis. Last year, we go out. We were trying to get a Milton Williams that fell through, but you got Turk Warden, you got Trayvon Mulrig. The defense, just as in general, was horrible. So they add a bunch of pieces, and it becomes a top 15 defense. Went from worst in the league to top 15, better than average. So they Dan Morgan and Brent Tillerson know what they're doing. Obviously, they're far more educated than I am. So I love this signing. Just again, as a fan, just cautiously optimistic. Hopefully, he stays healthy, but love that we added at the edge rushing position. Much needed. Much needed. I saw Kenneth Walker went with the with the Chiefs. So Kenneth Walker is now signed with the Chiefs, um, which takes some pressure off of Patrick Mahomes. Be interesting to see where Rico goes. Maybe Rico does go back to Seattle. Maybe he goes to Seattle. I don't think we were signed Rico, to be honest with you. I saw that we're in talks with rumors about us signing Geno Smith. Dan Morgan mentioned and talked about how he wants to get younger at that position, more athletic in that position, and Geno Smith, I think, fits that. You still have a decent vet there if that can. I don't think you really signed Geno to do what Andy Dalton did for Bryce Young. I think it's you sign him there that he kind of gives you the same skill set in a way, and someone that can win you some games if Bryce Young goes down. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I know a lot of people are mentioning on Twitter that they don't see Geno Smith being a backup, but I only played for the Raiders last year. I bet you he will be now. Bro, so glad that Mike Evans is gone. So glad that he's gone. He got mad. Probably broke it for him was the 3rd and 28 play where he got. I don't know if you guys remember that clip on Twitter when he walked out of the game and was just like, "What are we doing?" Walking back to the locker room. We'll see. You can do another 3 years, bro. We'll see if we can do another 3 years. I think the biggest domino right now is Devin Lloyd. That's the biggest domino. Where's Devin Lloyd going to go? I wonder who else is in talks with Devin Lloyd. That's what I want to know. What other teams are in contract or in contact with him right now? I didn't think. And then another free agency signing I saw earlier today was Alec Pierce. He signed a huge contract with it was like a 4-year, $114 million contract. I didn't think he was going to resign with the Colts. There was reports that he wasn't going to resign, but he did. I thought he was going to go somewhere else, to be honest. I thought that was going to be the 49ers signing. And then you got Malik Willis went to the Dolphins. I think he signed a 3-year, $67 million contract. Man, started 5 years or 5 games for the Packers last season, did well, and he gets a bad contract like that. That's crazy. See if there's any other big signings that have happened since then. Austin Hooper, the tight end from the Patriots, signed for the Falcons. That doesn't change. That doesn't move me at all. I'm good. Yeah, I wonder. I think. Oh, speaking of edge, though, Trey Hendrickson, where is he gonna go? I saw there was reports that he was going to the Cowboys, but it's still. I haven't heard anything since, even before the since 12 o'clock when the negotiations could occur. I haven't heard anything since then. But I saw that the Cowboys were interested on, but I don't know who else is. I saw that the Bengals pass rusher not Trey Henderson, but Joseph Asai is signing with the Jets. So I mean, you get now all they have is Shamar Stewart. Who else do they got? You got Trey Henderson that's gone. Asai's gone. I mean, Asai isn't like a big name. He's only had 14 and a half sacks the last 4 years. Hmm. Yeah, I haven't heard any other reports about where Trey Henderson is going. But yeah, man, I'm curious to see what we do at center and left tackle. Left tackle might just be very well could be just Josh Nijman at left tackle. I think he is a better right tackle than left tackle, but he improved compared to 2 years ago. I thought he was serviceable when he had to play left tackle. But yeah, again, Jaelan Phillips, I'm excited that we got him. Love the signing. Love the aggressiveness by the Panthers. Much needed help. Someone again, high pressure rate, top five in pressure rate. I forget how many snaps it was that I saw on Twitter, but 18.8 percentage pressure rate, which is easily top 10 in the NFL. I think it was top five, if I'm not mistaken. And again, like the sacks will come. Sacks are important, but pressure rate is just as important. If you can get a quarterback to get off rhythm, it it's really changes. It can definitely change the outcome of the game. And I think that if we had a decent pressure rate last year among our edge group, I think you would see a better record overall. We and our secondary is easily top five, easily with especially with how bad our pass rush was last year for our cornerbacks or our secondary in general to play the way they played this last season is phenomenal. Now, if you add pressure and get to the quarterback, I think you're going to see more turnovers this year. I think you'll see more interceptions, more turnovers. And you had what? JC Horn had 5 interceptions last year, which is what tied second in the league. So I don't know if it was tied first or second. I can't remember, but I think you'll see more turnovers this year. So Devin Bush went to the Bears, so the Bears went from Tremaine Edmonds to Devin Bush. It's not bad. Devin Bush isn't bad. He played for the Browns. He was pretty good for the Browns. Looking to see if there's any updates. And I was seeing earlier Kay Adams on the Up and Adams show. He was talking to defensive tackle DJ Reader about maybe signing with the Panthers, and he's saying that's a good team, man. I'd love to go home. Hey, man, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. I haven't heard too much of TJ Reader. PFF ranked him 30th, top 30 in the NFL. Not bad. But, I mean, going from DJ Reader to Ashawn Robinson, like, what if he is 31? Maybe you get a friendly deal out of him, a 1 or 2 year deal. That's some depth there. That's a possibility. I'm still shocked that Trey Henderson hasn't signed a deal, bro. But his agent's got to be one of the worst agents in NFL history. How's this guy not signed anything? I know he'd be looking for guarantees. Well, the Titans signed the defensive tackle for the Broncos, John Franklin Myers, to a 3-year, $63 million deal. I know he was a big free agent coming out of Denver. Uh, he had 14 and a half sacks the last 2 years. The guy's a beast. That sure helps the Titans defensive line. Saw Jeffrey Simmons make a tweet about that. Wow, that'll be good. Yeah, yeah. Phillips was seventh in pressures after being traded to the Eagles midseason, and he should thrive with the Eagles. That's a hell of a defense. But Phillips also was balling with the Dolphins too. But the other signings that the Panthers had as well was Robert Rochel as a special teams ace, headed back to Carolina for on a 1-year deal. There's another cornerback I saw that he signed as well. I can't remember his name. There's some depth there. But I think nickelback is going to be something that we got to address. I think Shaw Smith Wade did okay, but he just struggled against powerful running backs coming out of the backfield. Struggled to covering tight ends. Um, I think Evero kind of put him in bad positions as well because there's times where I saw Shaw Smith Wade covering Mike Evans multiple times. I'm like, what are we doing? I know that when he was out, there was one game he was out. I forget which week it was, but Corey Thornton did step in at nickel at that time, and I thought he was service. He was really well. I think he did really, really well. I still think, obviously, you want to get a guy that can compete or start at that position. But if you have Corey Thornton and Shaw Smith Wade, and then you add another player to that, just to add competition to that group to see who steps up, and maybe Corey Thornton can play nickel. I think nickelback is something that we definitely got to address as well. Yeah, I don't really see any other news. It seems like everything's kind of calmed down right now. Everybody went on their lunch break, just like me. Oh, you got Michael Pittman to the Steelers. Okay. Well, they traded him. Oh, Pat McAfee was pissed. Pat McAfee was pissed. I don't know what he signed though. Let's see. Let me see what the particulars of the trade was. Pittsburgh signed him for a 3-year, $59 million deal, and they swapped late round picks. Makes sense. Like once you sign Alec Pierce, makes sense. You're not going to sign. You're not going to pay Pittman either and sign that kind of contract. Okay, so we got a 3-year, $59 million deal with the Steelers. Man, like I think the longer and longer Devin Lloyd goes without being signed, I think the more and more he's going to be making, bro. I think there's back and forth. There definitely seems like there's back and forth between at least two teams. But who are the other teams that are in contacts with Devin Lloyd? Maybe the Browns after they lost Devin Bush. There's probably three teams to be honest with you. Yeah, Jaelan Phillips already switched his Instagram profile picture. In the background, it has a Carolina Panther. But we'll see if they're done yet. I don't think the Panthers are done today, man. I think you're going to see some movement tomorrow too, obviously. But I think it seems like Devin Lloyd is on the top of their list right now, and depending on how things shake out, what are their secondary and tertiary plans after that? Because that's what happened last year when Milton Williams, it looked like we were going to sign him, and then that deal fell through. They have contingency plans with that. So with Devin Lloyd still not signed yet, it definitely seems like the Panthers are like that's their number one priority. So if they don't get that guy, if we don't get Devin Lloyd, where do we go from there? Again, you have Leo Chanel, could possibly be someone you pick up if you don't get a Devin Lloyd that's still serviceable. But even if you get let's say you don't get Devin Lloyd, you get Leo Chanel, or you get another like subpar, decent inside linebacker. I still think inside linebacker. There's still tons and tons of inside linebackers that are good players that are coming out of college. The edge rushing group is still really good as well. I just don't think at 19 that you get an edge rusher right now, unless you get like a Bain or Abril Reese that drops, which will not happen. That's not going to happen. But after free agency is done, that's going to give us a clear picture on what's probably going to happen in the draft. But again, in the draft, you have the best player available, so we're going to get a good player there at 19. It's just who's that going to be? But the biggest thing right now in my head is left tackle, center. What do we do? What do we do? I think center is something that we're probably going to be able to target in the draft. That's going to happen. You never know. The answer could be on the roster. I don't think the Panthers bring back Austin Corbett. If Austin Corbett comes back and starts at center, I'm going to be pissed, bro. I'll be pissed. But the answer could be on the roster. It could be. You could have Nick Samick. That could be the starting center. He did okay when he was in. He only played for a game or two, but he wasn't bad. Maybe he's the guy that they feel comfortable with. I don't. I think you need to get you find a guy in the draft, but maybe he's the guy the Panthers are thinking about. You never know. And again, you can't get every off season. There's going to be different needs, and you can only address so many needs. And I like that the biggest need, you attack it, you spend big money, you attack that position, you get a good quality player, and then you still try to, from there, address other needs that you're kind of patching it, right? And then the NFL draft, that's where you get a guy that, again, best player available. So that way you're adding talent to that roster. But it's looking more and more like the offensive line is more probable in the first round. Definitely like day two. The offensive line is definitely something that, man, that icky injury, man, is tough. Because if Icky isn't injured, we're just talking about center, maybe a speedy wide receiver. People kind of knock our tight ends, but I'm not too worried about the tight end group. They're serviceable. They're good. Mitchell Evans is playing well. He's getting better and better. JT Sanders, there's still that potential there, but ever since he got injured, his neck injury, he hasn't been the same. But he's still someone that could still develop. Tommy Tremble is a no scrub, but he's also a cap casualty. We would save $8 million if we went that route. but I just don't think that'll happen. I don't think that'll happen. You never know. We could always re-sign him too because he was looking better and better last year, especially towards the back half of the season. Oh, supposedly the Saints are interested in Devin Lloyd too. Please God, no. I'll be so. That's who we're going to be. We're betting against right now. Is he freaking Aints? Hey, Devin Lloyd, if you're watching right now, Devin Lloyd, they're a trash team, bro. Mickey Loomis has no idea what he's doing. He's garbage. Don't go there. They're a trash organization. They were in last place last year. They're gonna be in last place again next year, bro. Don't do it. Even if they're offering you an extra 3 million a year, 4 million a year, don't do it, bro. Carolina's such a beautiful city. We got good barbecue here. It's family friendly. You got kids. Hey, we're a good place. Don't go to that team. They got ugly ass colors too. Come on now. Don't do it. Don't go to the Saints. Don't do it. We'll pay you handsomely. You're a good. We're an ascending team. They're just a trash team that are in cap hell. I don't even know how the Saints are talking to them. Actually, they've been in cap hell for how long? Let me look it over the cap. Where are they at? Oh, the Saints talking to Devin Lloyd. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Come on. They got 18 million in cap space. They did a lot of restructuring. They got Cameron Jordan, 18.7 million dollars in dead cap. Damn. Oh, damn. Wow. That dude was set to make 18. Wow. That's hilarious, bro. The Saints, the Cam Jordan is not playing for the Saints this upcoming season, and he is the number one cap hit on the team. Out of everybody on the team, he's got and he's not even. This is how bad Mickey Loomis is, bro. Mickey Loomis is trash. I saw the Saints signed a running back too. Who did they sign? I know they signed the Bills guard David Edwards. Obviously, you have Alontae Taylor that left. Oh, the guy we were talking about earlier, John. No, no, that's not a different guy. The Saints signed a defensive tackle. Not worried about him. He's a nobody. Freaking John Ridgeway. Don't even know who that is. Don't even know who that is. Chargers signing tight end Charlie Kohler. He was a Ravens tight end behind Isaiah Likely. Man, maybe the Ravens are going to get what's the tight end's name that's coming in the draft that a lot of people that want the Panthers to pick? What is his name? Uh, can't find it. I forget his name, but the Ravens might pick him up. They dropped it, and the Ravens. What is their? What is their draft selection? 14. Yeah, he'll be in there. That tight end will be there. What is the tight end draft? Kenyon Sadiq. That's who it is. I think that's who the Ravens are going to get. You got their two tight ends that are gone. Evan, you think Devin Lloyd's coming to Carolina? I hope so, man. I hope so. Joseph, I'm right there with you, man. If we can get Devin Lloyd, that'll be a hell of a free agency period. You got Jaelan Phillips, and then you got who to me was the top two edge rusher coming in free agency. And then Devin Lloyd's the top, obviously the top inside linebacker this free agency draft or class. Yeah, man, I think that I'm right there with you. Hopefully it can happen. But the Saints, supposedly the Saints and Devin Lloyd are talking too. Let's see. I don't know who else it is besides us and the Saints. I know the Jags are not in it. The Jags pretty much like, it's not good. They're not going to be able to resign them. The Jags have lost quite a few players. I can't remember who the other player was, but they've had a couple of key players leave today. Another NFC South foe, Tyler Algier's out. He signed with the Cardinals. I mean, they still got Bijan Robinson, but that 1-2 punch, man, Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, that was a hell of a combo there. So got him gone. Oh, and the Falcons also signed a receiver I've never heard of in my life. Olamide Zacchaeus. The dude sounds like he's freaking Greek, like old school name. Where did this guy come from? Olamide Zacchaeus from the Bears. Never heard of him. What is he like? He's got to be like a special team kickoff return guy because you have Romo Dunze, you DJ Moore, and Bears. Who's the other guy's name? Luther Burden. He's like, so what? Maybe the fourth best wide receiver. I'm not worried about that. Enjoy that, Falcon fans. That's nobody. But man, if the Panthers can get Jaelan Phillips and Devin Lloyd, I think that would be like, if you would have asked any Panthers fan, like, would you be happy after free agency if that was who we signed? 100%. But yeah, man, let's see what happens next. I think things have kind of cooled down since 12:30 my time, 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. Not that much going on now. But I might go live tonight, guys, um, and kind of recap everything. I just want to go live and talk to you guys about uh, the Jaelan Phillips signing. Again, happy about it. One thing, and I wonder if this is going to change. Now that I think about this, I saw DraftKings, they posted the odds of who's going to win the division. And we all know the Panthers won the division, right? And we haven't really lost any key free agents, but somehow we went from we are like plus 425. You have the Bucks that were plus 115, the Saints at plus 330, and the Falcons at plus 400, and we're 425. Who the like? How much hate do Panthers get outside of our fan base? Like the disrespect. Like the Bucks just lost Mike Evans, bro, and we swept the Bucks. No, we didn't. I take that back. No, I take that back. No, we almost beat them. We almost beat them the second time. I take that back. That was the Falcons. But the Falcons, they don't even have a quarterback. They lost their running back. They got a fourth round wide receiver or fourth, you know, in your depth chart, they got a wide receiver that's going to be fourth in their depth chart. You got James Pierce Jr. that's going to jail. Like, he's not playing for them next year. What am I missing something? I wonder if these signings change anything, but the disrespect, bro, is ridiculous. Whoop. It's crazy. Yeah, nothing else I'm seeing here that's going on with any other signings. But some other. I'll just kind of go over what I think like the other positions that we could target. Obviously, inside linebacker is going to be something we target. do we target another safety for competition with Nick Scott and Nick? Do we find a guy at nickel? Nickel can be expensive. Nickel in free agency, I don't think that's going to happen. It'll be more in the draft because nickel's becoming more and more of a vital position now, which is how the NFL and how offenses play now. Nickel's becoming a very, very important piece. But maybe you find a guy that can compete in nickel. Offensively, left tackle, do we get a guy that's going to compete for Josh? Do we resign Josh Neisman? We haven't done that yet. What are we going to do at left tackle? What are we going to do at center? Do we get a speedy wide receiver out there? Do we get another tight end? I keep seeing more and more that that the Panthers aren't fully content on their wide receiver group. Well, they shouldn't be. You got T Mac, that's great player. Number one wide receiver is going to be our X for the long, long time. But young, obviously. You got Jalen Coker, hell of a player. I mean, he should have been number 2 wide receiver a long time ago, but he's injury prone. He hasn't played a full season yet. Xavier Legette, the 3, he's still a work in progress. Can he turn it around? We don't really have speed of that group besides, you can say Excel, sure, he runs a 4.3. Jimmy Horn, he's really more of a speed guy. Is he going to be someone that the Panthers allow to take that next step, or do they bring in competition? We'll see. We'll see what happens. So you can't address all those things in free agency this offseason. You have to hit the draft as well. But even with the free agency and the draft, there's always some type of hole that you can't fill. So Panther fans need to understand that sometimes you just can't address it, or it's not worth addressing at that moment in time, and that you have to ride it out with the guy that's on the team now. So those are some other positions that the Panthers could target. We'll see. I saw reports about the Panthers being interested in Jawan Jennings. That ain't gonna happen, bro. After what he did to Morig, that's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So here's another one. So Adafe Owa, the Chargers defensive end, agreed to a 4-year, $100 million deal with $68 million guaranteed, signed with the Commanders. So Owa gets paid. Young pass rusher. I did like him coming out. He's a really good pass rusher. I felt like he was the tier right below Jaelan Phillips, but the Commanders get a good player. 4-year, $100 million deal, $68 million guaranteed. So O is now off the market with the Commanders. So that's the most recent signing here that I'm seeing on Twitter. But what's interesting though is I feel like Jaelan Phillips is a versatile player, so is Owa. But Owa getting much less as far as like his contract, getting much, because $68 million guaranteed for him. And then you have Phillips that with $80 million guaranteed for us, but he has far better sack production, which is interesting. I wonder what his pressure rate is. We'll see what his pressure rate was last year. 17.5, and Phillips was 18.8. So I think that's a pretty good deal for the Commanders. I don't think he's as good at run stopping as Jaelan Phillips is. I'm not saying that he's better than Jaelan Phillips. He's not. but he's not at all. But his sack production was better. He had 7.5 sacks last year. Jaelan Phillips had 5. Um, wonder what, let's see, per season. Yeah, and he's had a season back in 2024 where he had 10 sacks. But again, I think Jaelan Phillips is far more instinctive. I think he's like it shows on film. He has a higher pressure percentage. So, but it's just interesting that the sack production is there for Odafe. I mean, it's not. It could obviously be better, but the last 2 seasons, 17.5 sacks, and then Jaelan Phillips. Let's see what his sacks production has been the last 2 seasons. So he had 1 sack in 4 games in the 2024 season. Then following the trade to Miami, he recorded 5 sacks in 17 games. He had okay, yeah, but hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully Jaelan Phillips can stay healthy. So that's a new one. Adafi Owa wants to go to or is going to the Commanders. But dude, if we can sign Devin Lloyd, I think that the Panthers get their number 1 and number 2 free agent that they wanted on their board. We'll see what happens. But if the Saints walk away with Devin Lloyd, I'm gonna be so pissed, bro. I mean, hopefully he like go to some other team, not the Saints. But yeah, you have a Dafe that's got $12 million less in guarantees and $20 million less in general on his contract. You also have Kedrick Ellis out there. Kedrick Ellis, the Falcons linebacker. He's someone that we could possibly target if we don't get Devin Lloyd. He's a really good rusher as well, which is something we didn't have last year. But I still think you get a linebacker in the draft if you don't get one in free agency, if you don't get Devin Lloyd. As far as backup quarterbacks go, the Commanders are re-signing Marcus Mariota to a 1-year, $7 million deal. So that was someone that we possibly could have went younger at backup quarterback, but um, he re-signed a 1-year deal with the Commanders. It'll be interesting to see where Kyler Murray goes. I haven't seen Kyler Murray sign yet. I think like I know reports are saying he might go to the Vikings, but we'll see what happens. But all right, well, that'll be it for me, guys. Just want to get on here during lunch and just go over the big signing that the Panthers got. Jaelan Phillips. I'm excited for him. Excited for the defense. Excited for this team. That's a much needed help at the edge rusher position. So I think it's safe to say we're probably not going to get an edge rusher at 19 in the NFL draft. You never know, but it doesn't seem like that's probably going to happen. But depending on what happens the rest of the offseason, the rest of free agency, if we can sign Devin Lloyd, I think we shored up the front there, but we'll see what happens as far as restructures, like who are we letting go for as a cap casualty. Look out for Ashawn Robinson. That sounds like it's probably going to happen. But maybe we do some restructures on some contracts. We'll see. But I don't think we're done today. I think we'll get another signing. I don't think we'll get that many, but I think the biggest thing right now is like the Devin Lloyd. That's the biggest thing to keep an eye on. Devin Lloyd. So again, we're still going to need a starting center. We need a starting left tackle. We'll see what happens. So All right, guys, take it easy. I might go live tonight. I'll keep you guys posted, but hope you guys have a good one. Keep pounding. Peace.